Hello and welcome to Black Crow Gaming, and I hope you can hear me. So if you can't, then just let us know quickly in the chat so I can try and fix it. But I think tonight everything is going very well. As you can see, tonight we have got a very special guest with us. We have got the most handsome man in 40k, and I'm afraid it's not Toby. It is the one and only Vanguard Tactics' very own Jake Harding. So Jake, can you give us a big wave, buddy?
Hello.
You know what?
I am real. So
he exists, guys. He exists. So tonight we've got a lot going on. Me and Toby have been very, very, very busy with our source material, and we were talking to Jake before the podcast, and bless him, he's a little bit worried. So he's incredibly worried, aren't you?
I'm not that worried. I just want to know what all these are. We've already discussed. I think I know one of them, probably two of them, but there's one that is like I just don't know what it is at all, to be honest. So yeah, no, I'm very excited, David. Thanks for having me.
So
who's doing the pedo breathing? Right, let's just double check.
Hobbsy, shut up. He's useless as well. That's another one.
So basically, Jake, you are known as the most handsome man in 40k, and that leads really, really nicely into our first little meme we've got for you. And I don't know if you're much of a gamer, Jake, but I don't know if you know of Handsome Jack, but from the Borderlands series, but we've got.
I do know Handsome Jack.
Well, you're not Handsome Jake.
Oh, thank you. I'll get them all framed as well.
Oh my God.
No, I do know. Yeah, I think being the most handsome man in 40k really proves that if you say something enough, then people start believing you.
Well, I'm the best dressed, mate. That's the simple fact about it. We've got the coolest T-shirt. You know, we don't look like a polo. It's great. It's we're going to compete on the title now. You could be the most handsome, though, mate. I can't compete with that beard.
Oh, it is factual now. I've had it. So it went from self-proclaimed to a cold, hard fact of life. So. You know,
it just is what it is. It's so true that you even had your face put onto objective markers. That's how handsome you are.
And my own Team Handsome shirt that was made for me by some friends. So
you can't beat it, really. So Jake, we've got a lot of sauce for you tonight, and we know that you have recently developed quite a special relationship with Vanguard Tactics' very own Chris. And yeah. And I know that you guys like to spend some time together, and you like your cuddles, right?
Well, who wouldn't enjoy cuddling a mountain of a man like that? A big orange meat bag that is Chris Owen. So
when I obviously was perusing the internet, I didn't quite realise that I'd find you on here.
Do you want to know the best bit about that photo? Right, it has a famous quote that goes with it, which is, "It is exactly what it looks like." That is, if you have the context of Hobbsy in the chat can attest to this as well. That is a true proof of I am a better drinker than Chris.
Was that the infamous Leicester?
That was the Leicester night, yeah. Where Chris had to be put in a taxi home, and I went adventuring in the beautiful city of Leicester.
Well, how was the adventure? Where did you end up, Jake? Anywhere nice? Any travel suggestions?
Oh, Mosh seems quite nice. That was a dive of a club. Definitely enjoyed that. The university hall where we played the event, that was quite fun as well. We went to the Weatherspoons there, that was all right. And there was another really crap club, to be honest, which I can't really remember the name of.
Yeah.
There was also a Kit Kat just forced in his mouth, apparently, according to...
It wasn't a Kit Kat, though. It was like a fake Kit Kat. It was like one of those like Audi Kit Kats you get. That wasn't really forced. He was just like lobbed into his mouth.
I love that the issue you took there was that it was a knockoff Kit Kat.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
how
yeah.
fucking dare they insult the Four Fingers?
Well, yeah. Well, you know, that's Chris would not stand for that, as you can probably see from the photo there.
I like the fact that in this picture you put your fingers up like this. It's like you've just survived something quite substantial. I'm good, guys. I'm here.
Well, it is exactly what it looks like. So, you know, like anyone who doesn't believe that, you know, there's the proof.
So, Chris, if you'll watch this, mate, can you please get this printed onto a T-shirt and wear it at your next GT? Thank you very much. Much love, Aaron.
What are you doing, my step teammate? I didn't even notice that bit till just now.
Are you... Chris spends 50% of the event dead behind a curtain, just hanging out. So I hope you enjoyed one of probably the second part of our material, but we've got a few more, Chris. Jake, sorry. And obviously, we're going to continue with the Chris thing. And we decided that we'd do a picture of you beating Chris down as your revenge for that awful, heinous crime he did to you in the bedroom. So we've got you as a motan.
That would never happen. He manhandles me at events as well. Like Ed Watts and Manny Chima can be a testament to how much he manhandled me at South Coast. Hobbsy was too busy playing the shadow round and getting his arse handed to him by Gaylord to notice. But that is truly quite something, isn't it?
So
I couldn't.
Obviously, we all knew this. So we had this prepped in the bag, Jake. So we've got we've got the true photo just here, and I just want to highlight the tits on Chris right now.
Oh, right. I went from like a big space marine to like just a puny man. It's like a big orc, big Incredible Hulk, but the problem is he's a bit too green there.
No,
not enough orange.
No, we should have gone with Orange Hulk really, but I thought that was probably a closer representation of the truth. And we're gonna finish off. So something that's really interesting, and I think it's something you can attest to. Vanguard Tactics are in the public eye. You as players are in the public eye, and we saw recently Boxy was talking about snake oil or some form of oil, and me and Toby got thinking, and we were like, wait a minute, we know who makes this. So we thought we'd come up with your own personal snaky oil, Jake. And
I thought it was like Doug Dimmadome, like.
So we've got the Vanguard Tactics, Jake and his snake oil right there, created from the mastermind that is Elder Toby. They're just there for your enjoyment.
It's just, if anything, it'd be tanning oil. I don't know how we didn't go for the tanning oil based Snake Oil Academy, but yeah, that is quite something. I'm just still reeling from the second photo, to be honest.
What, you mean this one?
Yeah.
Look, mate, if the Vanguard Tactics Academy doesn't work out, you've always got another career for you right there.
Well, you know, like, I'm the most handsome man in Warhammer after all. It's got to eventually pay off for me in some way. So,
what, being Chris's little bottom?
Yeah, something, right?
Big spoon.
If anything, yeah. It's just, Kelly could never know Chris's partner. But
well,
you know,
apparently
like,
she might do now.
well, yeah, probably.
So we'll take it away. We'll start talking about some of the things that you guys at the Vanguard have been up to, and then we're gonna go into some meta talk. But could be worse. Could be selling beard oil. Oh, that was a subtle. Oof, James. I
wouldn't say selling. Probably just more like endorsing badly, right?
I mean, we're not here for the subtle digs, but we do love banter hammer. So.
Oh yeah, we love a bit of banter hammer. Everyone knows if you can't give it out, you can't. If you can't take it, you can't give it out. That's the rules.
No, and certain channels love to give it. So
yeah. badly as well, ironically.
Not like how Chris gives it, eh?
No, Chris is as subtle as like what Hulk or like.
Oh wait, where's Big Tit? Come on, Chris. There's Big Tit.
There he is.
Hey,
There's
Chris.
Big T, Chris. Oh yeah, well that was another. I didn't push my bed up against the door. That is another. Well, we stayed in like this house share in Leicester, and the only way I could get to the only plug socket in my room was by moving my bed. But it just so happened the bed moved, so it blocked the door, and Chris tried to force his way into my room, which he kept joking about, and then actually did it. And he was like, "Oh, what are you doing? Why, you little bastard? Why have you put the bed there?" And I'm like, "I haven't put the bed there. It's not like that. I just want to charge my phone."
Whilst in bed.
I think one of the
Yeah, of course.
spectacular messages that I got from Chris earlier today, I'm just going to get it up so I can read it out. Where is it? It literally just says, "I'm so gutted that I'm busy today because it means I can't go to Jake's house and annoy him tonight." He'd fully planned.
Depending on what time he came, I wouldn't have been in. like so, he could just be there, like Jake.
It's another bed story. You just escaped him this time as well.
Yeah. Oh, bless him.
Well, we've had a bit of fun, and I hope you've enjoyed the little segment that we like to do with Black Crow. Like I said, you gave us some absolutely fantastic content for our funny AI and great Toby quality head chops. So we're gonna go and have a chat. So basically, Vanguard Tactics are you're pretty massive now. You've got 60,000 subscribers on YouTube. You've had loads of people do your academy. You've got people giving all these raving reviews on YouTube or social media and so on. And essentially, I want to hear a little bit more because you're one of the coaches, right? You're part of the academy.
Not sort of. So I more leave the coaching side to people who truly are much better at it than I. So we have a plethora of fantastic coaches. Plethora just for Popsy in the chat because he loves that word. So like we've got Michael Costello, Stephen Box, Mike Porter, Matt Laura. And like we've got hobby coaches now as well in the form of like Izzy Sanchez. And we've got so many sort of well-qualified people who are better. They're not only are better players, but also can really sort of, describe and help and nurture people that, like my strengths are, not necessarily coaching. Like I happily give advice and, like coach when I can, but, I think like I've always been of the opinion of like you can't leave your best you couldn't leave your best player on the bench or make another player do that, right? So you might as well get the people who are fantastic at that side of it doing what they're really good at. And it's been a journey to say the least. With when the academy's gone through so many sort of versions of it. Originally it was a monthly thing that you subscribe to, then it went to like a whole one bang course. Now it's that plus live lessons, and now live lessons that accommodate to different time zones. There's something really for everyone there. So seeing it go from what it was when me and Steve first met to what it is now is quite frankly insane. And I didn't think that. It's not that I didn't think it wouldn't be successful, because I think at the end of the day, if you are really passionate about something and you want to improve, and maybe not for everybody, it's not as simple as just going down your local gaming shop and just playing more games and getting better and better. Sometimes you need guidance, and like if you wanted to get better at a game like golf, right? Golf is very much what I like to call the hobby sport. A game in which you getting better at it is more of a personal achievement. So by doing that, and I think Toby's gone.
Oh, don't worry,
there he is.
He'll come
Oh,
back.
okay. But yeah, so I think like anything like that when it's a personal achievement side of things, so Warhammer I see in very much a sort of similar vein where it's very much the case of, like the achievements that you're getting and improving is more like personal goals and personal things you want to reach. How many times have you ever heard about people wanting to do well at this level of the ITC, or I want to win this event, or I want to podium at this event, or I want to go 3-2 at this event. Whenever you put a goal on something, that's all about personal growth.
Right. Yeah.
So, I see that in very similar veins. So if you're willing to pay for something like golf lessons, you're willing to pay for
Coaching.
Coaching.
Yeah,
So
and I can completely see where you're coming from. I think some of the comments that the Vanguard Tactics guy had, well, Boxy touched on it, right? He said, like, what qualifications do you have to be able to say that you can coach people in this hobby? Now, I just want to kind of highlight something on there. The qualifications he have within Warhammer, as in what Warhammer qualifications does he have, is absolute zero, because Warhammer doesn't have proper qualifications. It's not like you can go get a fecking degree in Warhammer. But what he rightly
one day,
what
he
rightly does have, though, and I will give him credit where credit is due, is he has coached and managed and trained thousands of people.
Yeah.
And when you can do that, you can kind of pass that on over to other points of whatever you do. You can, like, I'm not qualified in IT, but I can teach someone how to use OBS.
Yeah.
So if
maybe not be able to teach me, because I don't think anyone could teach me how to use OBS. But now I'm of that 100% opinion as well. Like, at the end of the day, Michael as well, history of being a private tutor, a secondary school teacher, so has genuine teaching qualifications. Stephen, obviously in his own right, has coached thousands of people in not only fitness and nutrition, but also things like bodybuilding, getting them ready for all sorts. And at the end of the day, if you yourself, needed guidance or whatever, and like Hobbsy touches on it there with, like, if you do anything enough times you'll get good at it, but having people to guide you and offer constructive advice is such a benefit. Like, I wouldn't be where I am today and how happy I am with my gaming if it wasn't for the people around me to help guide me and mold me. And but by you yourself becoming better, that just only helps the people around you. And yeah, I just think that it's an interesting one with the academy, and I think that it is the bread and butter of Vanguard Tactics. I think the main reason all of us are here, and it's only gone from strength to strength. We've just closed our recent intake; all the spaces sold out, which was amazing to see.
How many spaces did you have?
We had about 125, I believe, was the final number. Now, when we look at the intake from the 10th edition, at the start of 10th edition, it was like 200 odd people, right? Which was incredible to see. But every like intake and every sort of thing, not only do you get the course for life, which is another massive thing, it also enables you to, like, there's always content added to it. It's getting bigger and better. There's 16 modules that span over nearly 100 and something videos, like, and then plus all the live stuff and plus all the other things. So it is quite incredible. And I always say to people that if you want to up your game and you're willing to invest in this hobby, then that's what, then that is something you can do. But if you just want to go down your local gaming store, enjoy the hobby how you want to, then that's completely fine as well, right? Like, we're not forcing you to buy anything.
No.
Right?
And I think like, we talk about it, and I think it all depends as well. Like, there's several sets of hobbyists now, isn't there? You've got what people would dub themselves as veterans of the hobby, people who have been doing it a long time and kind of have this sort of one-way track of thinking about things.
Yeah.
And they do exist, and those people have their own place in the hobby. Then you've got people who are coming into it new, who want to be involved in that competitive side, but maybe they lack that competitive friendship group. So this is where obviously Vanguard Tactics, or the Manny Chima stuff, or whatever gets posted online, this is where it all becomes relevant, right?
Yeah.
And the value of it is essentially it comes from what the person gains from it. So if they can come onto your channel, do your course, gain a lot from it, and come back, and they did those really wonderful videos, and they were genuine videos. That just shows just like what a good job Vanguard Tactics is doing for the community. And as much as like we may have our own opinions on how we think about how it should be done, you are helping people, and that is something I'll give you a round of applause for, because that's my industry. That's what I do for a living, is I help people, look after their health. You guys are doing it in your own way in the Warhammer community, which is a community that we all love. And
it is quite incredible, really. The impact that I've heard and seen and experienced while being so blessed to have the position I do in this hobby that I've loved ever since I was 8 years old, is probably the biggest achievement for me in my life, to be honest. Because when I first sort of started the hobby, this was something that I loved, like everybody, right? Fond memories of going down your local games workshop if you had started at a younger age, or even in if you entered it in the older sort of era, when you're self-sufficient, you have your own income, and you go and do all this. Like, everybody still has that buzz of looking at models and loving it, and then meeting like-minded individuals who all share a common passion. It doesn't matter what background you come from, it doesn't matter mindset, job, anything. You're all bonded by like this hobby. And I can genuinely say, hand on heart, I've made some of my friends for life, family almost, in the forms of Chris, Hobbsy, Box, Jord, Jay, Liam, and just so many more people, right? Who not only do I have like a friendship with, but a genuine like bond, if you were. And I think at the end of the day, that's the main thing it's all about. It's about everybody being there together, right? And like, even if like you see someone and you go, if you see someone at an event, like when you think about going to a tournament, right, it's a 5-round event potentially against strangers that you've never met before, but you instantly just speak to each other, you instantly hit it off, you instantly...
Jake, you have made a massive mistake, and you need to correct yourself before you get into trouble.
No, it's LPP. Whatever, Billy, sharp, right? Anyway, no, I'm joking. Of course, Billy, you're in there. You're as Stephen says, please. It's implied, right? You're there. So I don't need to say it. But like when you go to a tournament or whatever, and you meet somebody, like if you're there at the end of the day, if you put it down to like the bare minimum, if you take take the game out of it, take anything out of it, you're two complete strangers potentially who have never met each other before, nothing about each other, and you're about to stand there for 3 hours engaging in this game, and like naturally you may get to know them, you may gel with them, you may not gel with them, that's okay. And it's just it's an incredible concept, and then you see that person again, and you see them about, and you chat with them, and then naturally you build friendships with these people, and it's crazy. And then you sit here on a podcast at 9:30 at night or whatever time it is, and you're all chatting and you're all talking, and and that's the hobby, right?
Yeah,
that's all the people in this chat. Like, that's us.
It's a beautiful thing about like what me and Toby have kind of found with this podcast is like, at the very beginning we envisaged we never wanted to take it too serious. We just want to have jokes. So me and Toby have this conversation, and typically I say to Toby, "Do this," and Toby goes like that, and then the next thing I know, I'll get all of this stuff come through, and we discuss it again, and I'm like, yeah, I can work with this, Toby. But ultimately, like the podcast is very much like we envisioned it as if you imagine going to a pub and you talk sports results, or you this is how we see our podcast. Okay, so this is the sort of conversation that I'd expect people to have in a pub, right? And it kind of leads us into kind of what we're going to go into next, and this is where Toby's really excited. So Toby, can you just tell the viewers before we get it up, because I'm sure Jake's looking forward to doing the review as well. What were you talking about earlier? What were you're like, I'm so excited to talk about Chadmech or something.
Oh, Chadmech, yeah. So I think much to everyone's surprise, Admech had a really good week, including an 80% win rate for a detachment that I don't even know what it does. The Rad Zone core. Honestly, if you without looking at the app, if you can tell me exactly what that does,
I can tell you what it does.
all right. Well, clearly the handsomest man in 40k exactly knows it. Go on, take it away, Jake. Tell us all.
Right. So basically, the Rad Zone Corp is the better version of what they had in the index. With no like two ways about it. So it's like it's got like two parts. So you've got like the Fallout and the Bombard, right? This is like the main rule, and how it works is first battle round, before the first turn begins, you roll a dice. For your opponent chooses whether it wants to take cover or stand proud or whatever it's called, right? There's two options. That's the main thing. If they choose to take cover, they're battle shocked for the first turn until the start of the next battle round. So it's none of this like you can just unbattle shock yourself. And on a 5-up, you take D3 mortal wounds for every, if that unit chooses that. Or it could just stand proud, which is on a 3-up, it takes D3 mortal wounds, and that's enough said of it. And then from the second turn onwards, at the start of each of their command phases or your command phases, you roll a dice, and every 3-up is like a mortal wound, and they got to take a battle shock check.
God damn.
It's weirdly good, yeah. I think it's amazing into Eldar, personally.
Well, it helps with these MSU builds.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that could really, like, you fail your battle shock, and then you've got 0 OC. All of a sudden, that becomes a bit of a problem, right?
Yeah.
Because
it's just the chip, right, as well. Because like, if you think that like, one of the enhancements as well is you can make it over 6 inches. As in it's their deployment zone and everything within 6 inches of that deployment zone as well. So like, you just chip away at them, and even if they pick the battle shock one turn one on a 5-up, they could potentially take more wounds. Like for things like scourges and all the other crappy units that Eldar have, or the weapon platforms, and then the fact Admech have indirect and all these things, right? I think it's a really solid detachment. Personally, I think it's definitely been slept on slightly.
Yeah, well, it seems to be doing really well. So we've got the first tournament, and typically with the Meta Monday article, if you're not familiar with the Meta Monday article, people, the Meta Monday angle is a chap in America who goes through all the tournaments, GTs, over the weekend across the globe, and he compiles them into a report, which myself and Toby go through. So the largest event that happened this weekend was in Mount Vernon, the Cascade Clash, and there was 104 players, so a good amount of players, 6 rounds, and the winner of that was Necrons with Hypercrypt detachment 6-0, which no one's going to be shocked about. But I think what's going to surprise everyone the most is World Eaters went 6-0, Imperial Knights went 5-1, second and third, by 2 factions that are arguably the worst factions in the game at this moment in time.
I really like World Eaters personally, but that's probably a controversial topic.
I don't think
Imperial Knight's a dog, basically. So
I don't think it's a hot take that Imperial Knights are currently completely booty cheeks, and really not having a good time. World Eaters, though, I think they can still just go, here is all my 8-bound and Angron, and I'm just going to keep bringing Angron back if I get a bit lucky. Yeah. So I think, World Eaters, I can see going 6-0, especially in the right terrain. If they can stage properly, fair play. Yeah. Imperial Knights, I kind of want to see that list, because how on earth have they pulled that off?
What's it called? The
Cascade Clash 40k major, Mount Vernon, 104 players, 6 rounds, and he came third, which
Play.
is
Should
wild.
get as well then.
Whilst
Let's have a look.
whilst you're looking at that, Jake, we're gonna touch on one of the comments from our man in America, Sindri Tepek. Any thoughts on Death Watch moving up in the standings with all the aliens heading to top spots? Now, Sindri, I think one thing about tournament play is that you need to build a list that you can work with that deals with the top factions. And then you need to just hope that you have good games into the factions that aren't currently top. So currently with the meta at the minute, and we're going to go through it, it's actually extremely difficult to plan into the top meta factions. Because at this moment in time, the meta is probably the most balanced it's ever been. So, I mean, you only have to look at this first tournament, Sindri, and you can see Necrons, World Eaters, Imperial Knights, Chaos Knights, Death Guard. Now, if you were to tailor into killing aliens, you'd literally be fighting Necrons if you were in that top area. And like James Hall said, World Eaters, Blood Angels, Orcs all struggle currently as Custodes are hand down the best melee army. Absolutely, you're correct. But I think like one thing to note is that the Custodes have come down the rankings a bit, and that is due to the fact that actually the all-troop build does somewhat lack when it comes into heavy mechanized lists. There's some struggles there. Jake, have you found the list?
I can't find the event. I'm on BCP and I can't find the event. Is this? I don't. Hang on. Bear with, but I'm well interested, so I'm gonna try and find it. This app, man. When was it? This weekend.
It was this weekend, just gone. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's probably
chat. Help us out here. If you've got the BCP and you can find out that Imperial Knight list for us, just type
found it.
Oh, he's found it.
You got it.
I realised what I was doing wrong. So his name's Adrian James from Smite Club.
Right, never had him. Carry on.
No. Okay, so it's Canis Rex, a Knight Lancer, a Knight Errant with Melter Gun, Storm Spear, Rocket Pod, Thermal Cannon, Thunderstrike, Gauntlet, Armature Warglaive, Armature Warglaive, Armature Warglaive, Armature Warglaive, Calidus Assassin. It just looks like
that went 5-1.
It did, and he only lost his last game to the person who won the event.
To the Necron. I mean, I could see Hypercrypt having an absolute field day against an army like that.
There's no screening, so it just will go where it wants. And the World Eaters chap, who was from the Red Path, which it seems like all the World Eaters players are, is Angron, World Eaters Lord on Juggernaut with Favour of Corn, Jackals, 2 units of 3 8-bound, 2 units of 2 Spawn, 2 Forge Fiends and 3 Mauler Fiends.
2 Forge Fiends? What on earth?
It's good shooting. Like, it gives you something that they don't really have, right? Which I think I like that.
The 3 Mauler Fiends is pretty cool.
The 3 Mauler Fiends is cool. But again, like, 2 very similar armies there, like just stat checks, right?
True.
The Knight player played... Oh, God. Skatari, so Admech round 1. Oh God, I hate the new app. Sorry, maybe I should not have said that. Sisters of Battle, round 2. Mirror matchup. No, it wasn't. Custodes round 3. Ironstorm, Iron Hands, and he's actually Iron Hands, aka he's not Dark Angels. And then played a Chaos Knight list round 5, and then obviously lost to Hypercrypt in the final. It's not bad. That's a good little run, that.
Yeah.
He did good. I'm intrigued. I don't know if this is like a one-off. This guy just had like a blinder of a tournament, because in the UK, it also very much depends on the terrain, right? Like in the UK setting, I don't think that list would do particularly well on a UKTC map, but I could.
So a similar list to this went 4-2 at Beachhead.
Okay.
But the terrain there was very open, so that's probably why.
That does
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, like I went 5-1 at Beachhead. Like that probably tells you all you need to know. Um,
Did you have lots of lovely shooting lines by any chance? Jake?
yeah. I only lost the final to Martin Keeper.
That's
which
a fair enough one to lose.
yeah. You know, like those Medusas hitting on freezers, madness. But you know, I digress.
Yeah. We'll move on to the next one, which is actually Thornton, Canada, and it's called the Barry Bash. Now it's a 59 player, 6 rounds, and once again, World Eaters 6-0, Sisters 4-2, Sisters 5-1, Guard 5-1, Jakari and Grey Knights. Completely different set of 6 almost to the one we just saw, which is really
It's very
cool.
healthy. Yeah.
So World Eaters is actually so we at the moment, I think the last time we checked for the UKTC rankings, we're very lucky enough to have the highest ranked World Eaters player in the team in Sam. And I'm saying that because I always forget him when I talk about where we're ranked for as the team.
He's not even in chat tonight though, so fuck it.
No, I know. But the World Eaters, that's one of his friends, and he was saying about that person's list, and it's a lot more of the standard 8-bound spam, and exalted 8-bound spam. So Canada's always a bit of an interesting one for tournaments. I think the Double Sisters surprises me still, although I think I seem to be sleeping on Sisters. Grey Knights is one that I think people are starting to wake up to.
Grey Knights are flat good. I've been saying they're flat good for ages. I've been saying since the very beginning they had good rules. They were just too expensive. Red Knights have been made very good. They're infuriating now because they just ignore cover. So you're just taking that AP -2 and the flat 3 damage hurts so much. They are good now. And I'd love to. I reckon if Manny took a Grey Knight list, he'd probably win a GT with it.
I think most armies with access to a 3-inch deep strike are in a good position because I know you've took Marines at Leicester, so you've got a bit of an experience of Marines, so you know what Inceptors are like, and I've always felt that 3-inch deep strikes, and slightly shitting myself about the fact that Tau have got it now as well on crisis suits.
I mean, that's just flat busted now. Like they're going to be.
Between the 2-up save and how easy it is to get cover in 10th and a 3-inch deep strike, I just think there's a lot more play in there. So I'm excited to see what they do.
I agree. I think there's 3-inch deep strike. I think is probably going out on a limb here, but like probably up there with like some of the best, probably the best stratagem in the game, in my opinion. Like just the ability, like depending what army you are, but like, you know, like we've seen it in Hypercrypt with a Nightbringer. Like a Nightbringer who is about like that big, you know, like is the smallest model ever apparently, and he can literally you can't screen him. No. Like and then the fact he does so much damage as well, like Inceptors, like you said as well, like I loved using them at Leicester. Say goodbye to expensive solar panels, of course. And we've got enough pop-up ads on Meta Monday. Meta Monday, I got a boner pick with Meta Monday actually, because when I did really well at Beachhead, they were like, Votan, I've had a shocking week, and I was like, you can piss off, you dick. Like I was like, then because I'm that way inclined, I then decided to be like, well, I was 25% of the results of Votan, so get in there. And I nearly wrote him an email, but then I realised, no, Jake.
I'm sorry, Jake.
Please don't go full Karen.
We're not gonna.
I'm not that much of a virgin.
Oh my god!
Well,
Jake's been unleashed. We've got the real Jake now. No more VT Jake. This is
no. This is Jake having a moan about Meta Monday. I think I will caveat in that and say the guy or the people or whoever it is that does this is incredible, right? But my god, just know that I did really well, right? And Goonhammer wrote me a nice article, not just because I asked Tom Layman to do me justice. So, but yeah. Yeah, nah, it's no, it's good, but yeah, I won't. enough about me and my beef.
So, mate, the one time I was on the Goonhammer, I got shat on a bit because it was the list literally just said like some interesting choices, and I was like, all right, okay, yeah, I got lucky.
Yeah, I had there was one which was like it's just this normal Votan build, and I'm like, is it?
Yeah,
I was like, it had 3 wizards in it, mate. And then luckily Tom Lehman came in and did me proud. So shout out Tom Lehman, who writes for Goonhammer, and all the boys over there. They're all very fun.
Yeah, we had Tom on a few weeks ago. He's such a lovely guy, very insightful as well.
Yeah, we've been blessed recently. We've had some amazing guests on.
And Chris, of course.
And you know, if you guys haven't seen, this is a plug to our previous podcast. So in the last sort of 10 weeks, we've had Manny Chima on, we've had Dan Bates on, sorry. We've had Tom Lohman, we've had Franco on. We've had Chris, we've had Zach from the lead of UKTC, and we have had the most handsome man here tonight with us tonight. So the podcast has seen some amazing guests. So if you haven't caught those episodes, make sure you kind of go back a bit and go see those, because they're definitely worth a watch. And also, I'm going to give a mention. We've also had our wonderful Jack Sayer on the other week, who is gunning for Franco's top spot for best demon player in the UK. So we're going to see how that goes, because it's very close. Who knows what might happen? And it's an intriguing list, and then no explanation. I'm really enjoying James in the chat, because he's just giving it some in there, and it's very entertaining. So if you watch this, guys, make sure you read the chat, because James Hobbs being a class act. We're going to go on. We're going to talk about the Planet Arcanite, Kansas City, 51 players, 5 rounds, and the winner of this one was Death Guard with 4-1. So there was no 5-0s at a 51-player event, which I find really weird.
So Templars drew with them in the final.
So I was going to say, I now understand the format as well, because before I was a bit confused when it was like 4-1, 4-0-1. I'm like, well, so why have we put that there?
How did he work out who came top? He must have just done it as strength of schedule for that.
Or battle points, maybe?
Yeah. But Sam's here finally, Toby.
Sam, you missed me actually remember that you're in the top 3 for World Eaters.
Oh, yeah, Toby, we're going to forget about that now. We'll edit that out. Anyway, Planet Arcanite 2024. We got Death Guard, Black Templars, Necrons, Death Guard. And finally, we see an Eldari in the top 5.
Boo.
Yeah, boo.
Everyone still hates Eldari, right? But we haven't seen Eldari in any of these American tournaments, really, have we? It's been Necrons, and now apparently Death Guard are taking it. So I wonder what the Death Guard lift was like. Probably just shed loads of Plague Marines and Rhinos, right? With those mortars, because those mortars are just flat good.
I wonder if it's to do with the player-based terrain. Player-placed terrain rather than sort of the local metas. Because we see like it really has felt, looking at the American meta, it's starkly different to our quite standardized terrain. So it's interesting to potentially see if that's why, because there have been some surprising ones, I think, here. And Death Guard particularly are not having the best of times on UKTC terrain, I don't think, at the moment.
Well, we're actually the next one is finally out of the States or Canada way. We're going to look at the Bilbao. So I think it'll be quite interesting. Although I'll quite find this quite funny, because it's one GT Bilbao, and then the guys put Bilbo Spain. Bilbo Baggins of Spain.
He had one job. One job.
You know what?
doesn't know a unique list when he sees it, and he doesn't even know how to spell the country, or not even the country, the city. That's me messing up there.
As much as me and Toby like the Meta Monday, fuck you, Meta Monday guy.
There's this one weird beef I have after him ragging on Votan when I, like, the one weekend I did well, which then because of that, and then I got overshadowed, and then good old James Marsden comes in and comes top 4 at Northampton. Like, good job, James. Yeah. Bear in mind, I do rock and stain with James, so he knows that me and him have like a weird pretend beef of like top spot for Votan this season, because it's me and him, and I'm a bit more like he's like a new father as well, so that's my one advantage, is that he won't be able to go to a lot of GTs.
So you mean to be telling me that you're going to take advantage of your friend because he's got a baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. I don't know, there's two ways about it. Hey, this is war. Like, once I have it, then, you know, more than welcome. But he is going to LGT as well, so yeah, shout out James. He's a Toys of Mass Destruction. They're a fantastic group of guys, and he is a top class player as well. So yeah,
fantastic. So the GT Bilbao guys, we got Necrons again with 5-0, Chaos Demons with 4 and a draw, and then finally we see some Votan. I'm surprised, Jake, you haven't gone straight to seeing what the list is, being like,
the thing is, I'm really, like, say this is the thing at the moment, which is like, I'm in a really weird spot in the hobby I don't think I've ever been in, which is I'm just really, really, really content. Like, I really like my list. I really like how it plays. I've only tweaked it because of South Coast, sort of opening my eyes a bit to, you know, like on the UKTC maps and having things to deal with things like Ironstorm and Necrons. And again, like looking at these lists that are doing well, like even that World Eaters, Knights, and Necrons, those 3 lists, like Thunderkin would do great with as well. Ironically, the ones we looked at the start.
You'd probably play really well into those. I think I'm very excited to see. I want you to come to Oxford, Jake. I need you to make a commitment. Come and join us at Oxford. Be with the
When
boys.
is it? It's
April.
End of April, isn't it?
No, I think it's mid-April, isn't it?
If it's any convincer, Chris and I have a gentleman's agreement that if we're playing, we have to wear budgie smugglers while we do it.
I mean, that's definitely not selling it.
Well, you nearly had me.
What if I get a budgie smuggler that has your face on?
You've convinced me.
There we go. See, I knew that would do it.
I mean, I generally feel like
if
we
I
bullied
can,
him
I
into
will.
that. I mean,
if I can, I definitely will, because it does. I know a lot of the other VT lads are going, and this has been spoken about in our chat and stuff about going to Oxford. So yeah, I'll see what I can do, and I'll have to keep you guys posted.
Toby's just going to run up to you with his budgie smugglers, and
no one wants me running at them in budgie smugglers.
By all
like
means, just run away.
Like, Zach, there's a man here.
There's an unhinged bloke.
I've just ironically, after joking about me being really, I went and had a look at the guy. I've just gone and found the event as well.
Yeah.
So his list was, for Votan, was double E champ, 1 with Grim Demeanor, 1 normal with nothing, 3 Sagittars, 2 units of 3 Thunderkin, 3 units of 3, sorry, not 3 units of 3, 3 units of 5 Berserkers, a unit of 10 Hearthguard with Plasma, unit Landfort, and 3 Pioneer units. So he's got a lone champ, and then he's got the Doodoo Norse modifiers in with the plasma dudes, I assume, just to make them super efficient.
He's got loads of stuff on the board, hasn't he? He has got loads of models on the board.
Yeah, the interesting one is the plasma on the Hearthguard. Like, I tried it out and wasn't the biggest fan of it. But I guess that's like preference in it. I just like the weight of dice. Like, I just am a firm belief of, like, if you just throw enough dice at something, it will just kill it.
Maybe more focused towards Catan. Like if he's got the ignore
Yeah.
modifiers as well, maybe Catan or avatars.
What is the damage on those plasma, Jake?
They're flat 2 and they're -3, so you can't armor and contempt it, and you can't reduce the damage. So that is quite good.
Yeah, that will hurt those. It'll be putting them onto their invols, and then every fail will go through. But then it's not that many shots. It's only 10 shots.
You can sustain to it as well, but again, it's only 10 dice, right?
Yeah.
So like you should get
go through,
two 6s, so that will explode into like 4 extra hits. So probably about 3 is about right. I like my Normods dude in the Volkite unit. He doesn't do anything for my shooting, but for my combat, he means that I'm still -2, still flat 2, and then if I need to, I can bump my AP to AP4. He can't armor contempt it. He can't reduce my damage, and that unit just hits so hard in combat, and it does throw people off a bit, which is good. But interestingly, the Necron list was the Canoptic Court list. I just had a look at that.
Version?
I think so. It's got Nightbringer, double Transcendent, Technomancer with hyperphasic Fulcrum, don't know what that is. 2 Technomancers, 3 Scarab Swarms, 1 Locust Destroyer, 3 units of 6 Wraiths, and 2 Doomstalkers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of like Josh's. He had the silly expensive Forge World Atherin sites that are like 45 quid each or something like that.
Yeah.
So that is probably just privileges of working for GW that you're able to get those kinds of things. Like,
I mean, you get 50% off, right? So
that'll do, yeah.
That man is probably taking full advantage, which I would be as well. So fair play, Josh.
To be fair,
yeah,
I worked for
100%.
Games Workshop about a decade ago. I did my time at GW. I got my reps, and I bought copious amounts of Warhammer.
I did a lot of work with GW as well, and I remember like one of the first times I got to use that discount, I like bought so much stuff. And then like I was also like just turned 18, had no financial commitments really, so just like absolutely
Stopped it all.
They literally like all over, like, and it was amazing.
You can see that on the new Jake OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Funny enough, we've got the first ad for that just here. So the OnlyFans here.
Here we go.
In his feature film, What Are You Doing, Step Teammate?
And that I will win an Oscar for as well. That's when you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's seminal, honestly. Sorry, seminal. I'm seminal. But I think it will be excellent. We'll see possibly another I'm Just Ken. Perfect.
That's all we need. That's all we need in our lives.
More Barbie references. Right, let's go on to the next tournament before Toby breaks out into song, and then I really can't handle that. So anyway,
it's another Votan. Yes.
So Votan went 4-1 in Pont-la-Villa, Switzerland. Gruyere Open Tournament. Did you like my accent, guys? Also known as
perfect.
Very good.
Also known as the GOT.
The GOT.
GOT.
You just got.
So, I think they actually won that whole event overall, which is amazing. Custodies coming second, Space Wolves coming third, and Templars coming fourth. It's worth saying that was also a WTC scoring as well. One would argue, if by seeing a Votan win, that they'd think it'd be quite an open terrain set. But actually, Custodies coming second would suggest that possibly not.
Well, it's Custodes, Stormlance, Templars, and Gladius. So that's 3 likely quite combat-focused armies, because the Gladius one will probably be the Helbrecht Impulsor build. We know that Stormlance is exclusively Thunderwolf Cavalry, and then Custodes obviously is pure combat. So
it's a weird one, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you can't really predict how that terrain might be, because it just seems kind of a bit all over the place. Because normally when you see like results at a tournament, you can kind of be like, okay, well the maps must be relatively open because everybody's tailored to this. But it it's not.
It's a weird one because there surely is enough room for like all these Thunderwolves to move around,
Yeah.
but with at the same time not enough room that so you can stage. It's really weird, but fair play. Fair play. I do really like Space Wolf Stormlance, like more the idea of it rather than like I think it's really good. Like I
Yeah.
like the idea of having a bunch of like cavalry people.
Totally.
But yeah, like fair play to that person.
So
Yeah.
I want to also bring up something, Toby, and this is about your Chad mech. It's the Rad Zone. So, you know how we were saying about actually it's like secret good. That actually one thing we say, Jake, about when we look at Meta Monday is that we don't really take tournaments under 40 with too much relevance because it's too small.
You can have weird pairings as well.
Yeah.
Right?
And this one here is WTC scoring and 32 players, which AdMech won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think fair play, but yeah, I think you have to take. There's so many factors you have to take. This is the really interesting thing about tournaments and stuff. Like, I don't think sometimes there's an emphasis like we're doing. I think we're doing it quite well, and I'm not just biased. But like we're looking at it and being like terrain, player placed UKTC, because player placed terrain is a massive. Like playing it is a massive. It's a whole other ball game.
It's another game.
There's none of this like. You know, like my one thing with the UKTC setup, and you know, I love it, and I love the boys there and stuff, and I really like the new missions actually after playing them at South Coast. But you can just like if you are really diehard and stuff, you can just sit on TTS and math it all, or practice on it enough that you know what to do on the certain maps. But at least the player placed is like you sort of like you have an aspect of that, but not because you're relying on your opponent as well to place it in a certain way. You know how you want to place yours. They may know how they want to place theirs and go tiki-taka and do all that. Like I think it's a big factor to look at when you look at these sort of events.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And that's why I find looking through the Meta Monday so interesting, because as we've gone through these, we've seen multiple different factions. We've seen... This is what we were saying earlier. We think the meta is probably at the most balanced it's ever been. And so far, like we've got another 32-player tournament. Black Templars have won it. Eldari, Guard, Thousand Suns. And then first time all night, like we had Paul Evans in the chat saying he feels really bad because Tyranids have fallen from grace. Well, this is a 31-player event. Tyranids came second with their invasion. I mean, they're not doing great at UKTC, admittedly.
I just think NIDS could be good if the meta was a bit different, but the meta is too mechanized right now. Their most efficient unit is the Exocrine by some distance, and Exocrines are so good into elite infantry, but as soon as you put them up against any kind of medium armor, they're utter shit, and it's a real shame. Because I that was my last round at Northampton was against NIDS, and the guy kind of came up close to me, and I just went, okay, Land Raider, Eradicators, squirt your big monsters away. What are you gonna do now?
Yeah, I think it's an unfortunate one, isn't it?
Yeah.
They'll get some love in the next data slate, which should be April.
Yeah, I was just wondering how they get love, like because obviously, so they are now, I would say, internally balanced, but unfortunately, that internal balance is a bit on the weaker side. But I think a big problem with them is they miss out on two of the really important core stratagems in tank shock and grenades.
Yeah, I agree. I would really like tank shock just to be like on monsters as well, personally.
I think monsters should just have it as an inbuilt ability.
Yeah, or you know, have it, let them use the strat, or like give them a similar rule or something. Because like if a tank can hit you that hard, I think a monster can hit you that hard as well.
Exactly. I get. In part, it's because they want to manage monsters going in and rolling a shit ton of dice, but equally it's capped at 6. Like,
yeah.
There's-
It's,
there's-
it's,
Knights
it's
can do
definitely
it
it's
quite
definitely
well.
enough to finish a unit off. It is definitely incredible. What I want to talk about though, guys, Tau went 5-0, and Tau have just had announced a new book which we talked about earlier. How cool are the new Kroot? Hobbs,
Yeah.
are you if you're watching this still, are you going to be getting those new Kroot? Because
No, you don't. No, he hates Crew.
Does he?
So much? Yeah, we have a joke that like. So I always used to be. Me and my friend Phil had this joke about like, if you don't like Crew, like if you don't use Crew, are you like racist? Like, are you just do you not like Crew for a certain reason? Like. I bullied him into it so much when I kept mentioning it. He then bought Crew and put him in his list and stuff. But Hobbsy he just despises Crew. I don't know what it is. I really love the models. I think they're amazing. The Rampages look amazing. The Lone Spear looks amazing. I never thought I'd say I was a fan of Crew, but yeah, the only thing I'm a bit sad about is like. I presume now they've like obviously announced them on Warhammer Community. That's probably like that for they're not getting any more models, but a cool monster would be cool.
yeah, that
Yeah,
would've been cool.
massive
Or
Kroot
Vespid being fixed.
Yeah, and new Vespid models. I'm a bit like, why did we not get any of these? Because like if they're even still in the book, hopefully they are. But it's one of the cases of like. I love the new Crew, and I think that I hope they're good. They have to be good, please, please.
I would say that Tau is the perfect example of why everyone needs to learn how to magnetize. Because like,
Well, maybe
holy
not as
shit.
much anymore with the announcement of the spec weapons.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, if you are a current Tau player and you're like, yes, look at this cool new stratagem for my crisis suits. I've got a 1 CP fire and fade. How amazing! Oh shit, I can't take any of them because they're not magnetized and they're all stuck with plasma and CIB.
Yeah,
Like-
it is. Yeah, that is like I can see a lot of Tau players being very upset that they obviously like you have set loadouts now and all that. But to be honest, I think overall it's going to be better for the game because like it means that you don't have to outsource to get a million sibs. Because how do you get a sib? You just buy a commander. So you don't even buy the battle seat box and you only get one. Like, expensive hobby. So,
Well,
yeah.
Games Workshop strikes again, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten rid of the Meta Monday article because I think at this point we've kind of gone through the relevant data. It was really interesting to see all of the different armies that are currently repping. It's worth noting there's some variances in the percentages. There was no big UK tournaments on there, and I'm going to say it now, the UK meta is the one that is shaping the statistics right now. So I think we've got some tournaments coming towards the end of the month. Then we've got Oxford in April.
Yeah.
Manchester soon. That's going to be really big.
Yeah, Manchester.
Yeah, Manchester's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or a week Saturday.
Yeah, so there's going to be some big tournament. Manchester's normally a big tournament as well. That's quite a lot of people attend that. And who won it last time? Was it Vic who won the last one?
I think so.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that does seem like a familiar name.
Wait, you've heard of Vic for J2?
Yeah, he's lovely. Yeah, I think I agree. I think the UK scene's really good at the moment. You got some fantastic players on there. Not just fantastic players, but also fantastic people.
Yeah.
Really
there's
great
Manny.
armies. Manny. Oh, there we go. Oh, classic. So yeah, I think it's an interesting one. It's going to be cool to see what comes of it as well. Because obviously you got Dark Angels, like the new Dark Angel book will be allowed as well. Because that's out or
cut you there, Jake. It's shit.
It is bad, but
I love my Dark
yeah.
Angels with a burning passion. Although I literally now have called my list Dark Iron Salamanders because there is no way that it is in any way Dark Angels.
Yeah, I think it's a weird one. Like I like Company of Hunters, I really like. But again, just find me a map that you can move it.
It's just kind of shit Firestorm though.
Yeah.
That was my major problem with it. I
It
looked at
is
it and
depressing.
that +1 strength that you get with fire, like the fact that Redemptors suddenly got up to strength 10, and Inceptors going up to strength 9, and then they're suddenly they're wounding Eldar tanks on 4s.
Yeah, it's the weird damage cap in it. It just like pumps you up enough. Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. Like, it is a shame to see, to be honest. Like, I'm not a big fan of the Dark Angel book as well, so I do share that testament. I think for Marines as well, let's be honest, it's that Ironstorm list or nothing, right? Or Firestorm as well. I think Firestorm's fantastic as well, but so you've got two choices really. You have about 20 million, but there's only really two. Or three actually. Gladius is good, but
the Gladius is great, and Black Templars in general, there's a couple of real good builds that they can do. I think the Dark Angels list in theory may actually be dead now because it's just had one of the key components, Legends, in the Talent Master. So now that's the one that ignores cover.
Yeah.
So that was like so key to that list, just to be able to be like, okay, cool, now you don't get cover, I'm gonna fuck you up even harder than I was before.
So going to see the Talon Master go.
I know, my heart bleeds.
That's
your bullshit load up 16-inch moving guy. They
got rid of. Did they get rid of? Did they get rid of something else as well?
Yeah,
they got rid of
Deathwing Command Squad.
That was it. Yeah, the Strike Master or something as well.
Yeah, Strike Master as well. Although the new models are gorgeous. I think that's the only thing we can really say as Dark Angels players right now is like the new models are stunning. They suck balls. They're stunning.
Yeah, but it'll all come
in a
circle.
it'll
come full circle. I mean, after we've got the Tau book coming, I think after Tau book we're probably going to have the Custodians book. Very excited about, and then it'll probably be Orcs if Valrak is right.
Well, they've just had that box announced as well, haven't they, with a Stomper?
Yeah.
You get the best Big Mech model ever, but you have to buy arguably one of the worst GW models in the form of a lampshade.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, or you could be a Custode player and be like, you have to buy a box set with
captain model ever.
That captain, honestly, Jay, I think that's more. It's got more place in your army than it does in a Custodes army.
Yeah, it made me so upset. I'm just going to build my own from scratch build. I've got some stuff I'm going to do. I looked at it. I was like, I should just buy a unit of guard, make a shield captain out of one of them. Use the get a melter spear printed for me. Use some parts from the blade champ or whatever I've got going spare, like the head or whatever, make it look really different. Job done. And then instantly it looks better than whatever the hell that was that they've piled out. Because I was really considering, I was like, I'm going to buy that box. And I looked at it, I was like, I'm literally spending 140 probably pounds for a model I don't even like.
Yeah, well, I think that's the weird thing, isn't it? Is like, I love the new Big Mech model, but he comes in a box of models that you probably wouldn't want to use. Obviously, Codex, as it currently stands, Codex depending, who knows, Stomper meta. And then you got the Custodes, which is weird because, like, for a lot of Custode players, they probably own a lot of that stuff.
I do. I've got 7,000 points of Custodes, which is actually a lot of models now. And I don't need. Do I need any of that?
Well, this was the thing with the Dark Angels box as well. There was so many people just going, I mean, I like Belial, but I have all the knights. Yeah, Belial, whatever.
I prefer Belial.
I'm not into the Bible. Ironically,
yes, you fucking are.
To say you're gonna put up Elder Toby now.
Jake, have you ever seen Elder Toby?
No.
Do you want to see
What's
Elder
this?
Toby?
Come on then. What's this? Oh wow. Is that actually him? No.
you can kind of see that I'm in my work clothes today, and when I usually go to club, I'm going straight from work, so I'm usually in a full suit, and I look well. Someone rather lovingly said I look like a Bible salesman, and thus Eldar Toby was born.
Oh, amazing.
We also have Tanker Toby for when he's being a bit of a tanker.
Tanker Toby. Let's have a look. Oh, it's just in his little Mogul Dawn.
Mogul Dawn.
It's your Ironstorm Mogul Dawn.
Then we have Nurgle Dom.
Nurgle Dom. Oh, there he is.
Build the wall.
With all his Nurglings. Bless him. Look at him,
I
he's
saw the
loving
ones
it.
there. Medusa's hit on 3s.
Emo Harry.
Oh no.
That's the man that got hit by the Medusa's hitting on 3s.
And then we also have in here, which we haven't brought out for a while, we have a Votan Sam. Which is
Votan Sam.
That's a pre-podcast meme. That one was like, so that model came out, and I just messaged one of the guys and I went, that really looks like Sam. He's one of our teammates, and one of the guys that does all of our Discord and everything like that. And I just ever so quickly just nipped onto Canva, edited it, and just went, Sam, I found the real model for you. I had to go through so many photos because this man does not post any photos of himself on Facebook, and go through back to 2014 if I could find something that
there he is. This is him and him enjoying himself.
Votan Sam. So I think, guys, we're coming towards the end of the podcast night now. I just want to make a big again just a massive thank you, Jake, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure having you tonight. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, even with the grief we gave you at the beginning, which, by the way, guys, we do pre-warn our guests that we like to have a bit of fun, and Jake was a really good sport and let us do that tonight, so just a massive thank you for doing that. If you have liked what you've watched tonight, people, and you've enjoyed what you're doing, drop us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. All of that really helps. We're going to give a big shout out as well to our sponsor, which is Terrain Forge. In the bottom we have a link. They do custom built terrain, so you can ask them to make terrain to your specification. It's fantastic quality, it looks great, and it's absolutely worth every penny. If you go into our description, we've also got, if you go into the website, you put BCG5 in, you get another 5% off of that, and that's a 5% off his terrain which he's made for you. Really great stuff, so I absolutely recommend going to it. If you want to see that terrain close up, watch our battle reports that we release every Sunday, and that is where we use the BCG terrain that has our Black Crow Gaming emblem on. I don't know, Jake, have you ever seen the terrain? You must have seen
I haven't, no.
Do you want to have a look?
I haven't. Yeah, let's go have a.
I've got an
have a
advert,
look.
so we're just going to play an advert, guys. We're going to stop talking, but you can watch the Terrain Forge ad.
And where down we go, where down we go, say where down we go, oh, 'cause say we're running down to your car, oh, way down.
And there it is. What do you think, Jake?
Cool. Did you set up in the UKTC layout?
Yeah.
I literally can see that mission, and I'm like, oh, I know that. That's game 3. That's game 3. That looks nice.
Yeah, go say this with love, but you fucking nerd.
Yeah, no, I know.
So
know.
it was
This is
beautifully
the thing.
painted by one of our very own, Simon Cox, who did an amazing job on that, and obviously he really highlighted the Black Crow Gaming emblem. If you've got a team or club and you want to have your own emblem etched on, he can do that for you as well. He recently banged out for Team Wales a load of WTC terrain, so it's not just that UKTC format. He can pretty much accommodate, and it is just very high quality terrain, so I highly recommend to give it a look. And did we get the Jake seal of approval? What do you think? You're going to be playing on it when you come and do a game on the battle reports with the Crows in Yeovil.
Yeah, nah, it looks lovely actually. Very nice quality as well, which is nice because I think a lot of terrain it's like a bit hit or miss sometimes with the quality of it. So it does look really nice. So yeah, it gets my thumbs up.
The handsomest
So,
terrain in 40k.
yeah, well, VT doesn't do terrain anymore, so yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you something right now. So in our local gaming shop, there is still a Vanguard Tactics endorsed piece of terrain for sale,
Yeah,
and it's at, like
it's a
it's so much money.
yeah, it's a because that terrain was used loads in America and is all the terrain I believe. Well, the Goonhammer used to use it. I don't know if they still use it. But yeah, but we do have a VT helped frontline gaming set of terrain, but we don't have our own set yet. So
Well, maybe I can introduce you into my supplier. But anyway, we're gonna conclude that tonight. Again, Jake, thank you so much for coming on, mate. I've really appreciated
it's a
it.
pleasure. I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you for thank you for asking me, and thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
Well, thank you very much. From us guys at Black Crow Gaming, we're gonna say good night. Thank you very much, guys. See you later.